When Neptune is in the cardinal signs, there's two projective, two reflective. There's still a tendency to drive or to force your visions and your expectations on others. Or if you're forcing it on yourself, you're still having an effect on others. You're still forcing, you're dynamically pushing that vision or that belief or that sense of adventure. So Aries is going to push their sense of adventure. They're going to go push beyond what's safe. But they're going to be nobly pushing, hopefully nobly pushing, or maybe not. In Cancer, it's going to be pushing for security, but it's going to be believing I should have the security. I got to have this. I got to get home. I got to have the security, or I got to take care of mom, or I got to like. But there'll be a strong, powerful push, a dynamic drive with Neptune. So Neptune is going to weaken the drive because it dilutes it. It takes away the disciplined specificness of being able to be ambitious, controlled, and driving, and puts it out in perhaps more dreamy, perhaps more unreliable, perhaps more visionary ways, but it takes away some of the practicality of the cardinal signs. So usually with Neptune in the cardinal signs, the tendency is to push to follow your vision and get yourself in trouble. However, or get yourself lost or complicated, dependent. But it's a driving element. It's coming from you being pushed out into the world. So when it's a vision, you push it out. When it's an addiction, you push the addiction out. When it's a dependency, you push the dependency out. When it's a sorrow, you push the sorrow out. So if Libra, Aries, Cancer, or Capricorn get sad, they may pull away, but people are going to miss them or know that drive isn't there anymore, or something's misdirecting. It's like you got a drunk driver. So you look at the puzzle and you wonder about it. It's enough, but these categories, all these categories have their own, they're simple little thing. They're hard. With Neptune, it's hard to be exact with it because it keeps visionary or guilt-ridden. It's blowing up. It's collapsing. It's weakening. A vision can empower, can pump you up, make you messianic and fanatical, or it can make you guilt-ridden and follower. And different situations in the chart will help people align to it, make it work one way or another. But that pushing this vision, that's there. I got to do something. I got to push for something. I believe I'm supposed to have this home. I believe I got to have this job. I believe I have to have this relationship. I believe I'm meant to take on these responsibilities. That's not bad things in themselves. It depends how well you live up to them. But because you believe it, you almost expect it's a birthright, or it's a divine right, and you shouldn't have to work as hard to get it because you believe it's there. But because you believe it's there, really, you're supposed to work harder to maintain it. When you're working with specific situations and individual consultations, you stop back and take these steps. They'll be in context to situations and you'll see them more clearly. But there's always when Neptune's in the fixed signs, the belief is, I believe I have to hold on to what I have. The beliefs are fixed. The visions are fixed. They don't change usually. So if it comes in as fanaticism, it's not a pushy fanaticism. It's fixed. I'm establishing, this is where I am. I'm there. I believe I'm not supposed to change from this. Why are you trying to change this? So the dreams are consistent, fixed. They can be the same dreams, same visions, same dedications. It's harder to change them there. So if you have some confusion or something that causes this belief or disbelief in your early years, say the romance or unromance or adventure or lack of adventure of your parents, you can get fixated in that and not believe you can get out of it and just follow the pattern. So or you can get very fanatical that everyone else has to follow this pattern too. If I don't get it, nobody does. Or Neptune builds up these irrational extremes. It doesn't build up so it's like a suddenly shocking there. It suddenly builds up in waves. A little habit builds up, a couple other bad habits tie up to it. Until, so you have a few drinks, you smoke a little bit. Then one day you try some doctor gives you some Oxycontin or something, you really like it, you start taking a bit more and more, and suddenly you're a full-blown addict. But it really didn't come overnight. It wasn't just the doctor. It's been coming a long time along the way. And your behavior patterns have been fixed in it. So that's the Neptune in the fixed signs. In the mutable signs, it goes out. The mutable signs go out. It's more adaptable. They go out in every direction. So Neptune is really well suited to go out in every direction and believe in everything. To be, wow, take in everything. Here's the overview. Here's the multi-level view of things. Here's the many adventures I want to go on. Here's the after one romance, these are the many romances I have. I don't want to just stuck in one romance. They don't want to be stuck in. They want to drive too hard for it. They want to push too hard for their visions, which is in the cardinal. They want to be too fixed in it, which would be stifling. They want to adapt and find this vision, this person, that person. Their seven adventures going all over the place. They're multifaceted. And when the vision is selfish, it creates very pathetic lives. When it's negative, it really oppresses somebody. But when it's positive, these are people who will have a really strong social conscience and a tendency to want to be dedicated and to be helping in various situations. But it's going to be hard for them to stay at just one thing, at just one subject in school, or get a degree in just one thing. They're more diversified in their beliefs. So you can have someone that's all fixed signs but has all these diversified beliefs, and they have an inner conflict around this. You can have someone else that has this and has all immutable signs and is very naturally adaptable, and boy, they're going everywhere, but nobody ever knows them that much because they're going everywhere. It's much easier. So Neptune increases the quality, magnifies the quality, enhances the belief or the dream or the romance or the sense of adventure around it, but it also it can increase the laziness, the slothfulness, the disbelief, and it can in as many ways. I mean, if you start doing drugs, all your friends are going to be drugs. If you become a cop, all your friends are going to be cops. You know, like it can isolate too. There's a haunting, mystical thing. What's right? What's wrong? What's peaceful? What's not? What do I believe? Where can I help? If you don't believe you can help anyone, what are you doing on the planet? So Neptune has this. It's not quite a personal consciousness, but this haunting quality of what you believe and where it is. So these mutable signs are going to have multiple beliefs, multiple choices, which would make them seem very superficial or very diversified. The fixed signs will be very fixed, and they'd be more fanatical in their specific belief or disbelief. The cardinal signs will be much more aggressive with it, or pushing with it. As your beliefs, when we start interpreting the whole chart, we start pulling these layers, and we start seeing how this comes in and how it begins to manifest down into the houses, in the aspects, and into a person's character and behavior. You begin to see where you have to solve your dependencies, and by getting wholesome or healing adventures. So when we put Neptune in the fire signs, this is the active signs, the energy. I want to be active. I want to be somebody. I want to be noticed. I want to be everywhere. So Neptune is going to increase that. Neptune in Aries is going to make one want to really be dramatically, physically active in a big way. You know, but I mean, sometimes dependencies, addictions, drugs, bad habits can come in and affect how you're doing it, and they can get a negative thing. Someone could be just watching sports all the time and drinking all the time, and there can always be a potential addictive quality where Neptune is, but it's not just about drugs. It can be about addiction to people, addiction to different things, addictions to sex, or it can be the avoidance of them. So someone could be very proud and very passionate and out there strutting and stuff around, and then maybe very aloof and not really have the follow through to establish good relationships or good. They'd be acting out the dream, not making the dream real. Whew. All the things to do. What can you do? What can't you do? The Neptune and Aries. But it's still going to be dramatic. The fire signs are going to have a way of showing, of making a show of their dramatic. So if they're going to be noticed, they're going to do something. It's a pride element. They'll be noticed, I'm proud, and they can either be overly arrogant and then really humbled. It can flip both ways. Neptune tends to show as a dissolving, either it's increasing the belief and fanaticizing things, or making wonderful things, get absorbed in things, or it's diminishing and creating evasiveness of guilt. I can't deal with this, I can't do this, I can't do this. So with the fire signs, the cardinal fire, the fixed fire, and the mutable fire, you really see these two, the modes and the elements together. But when you're looking at the fire, the belief in noble and having something to show and going somewhere, having some adventure so it can be noticed. And I've been to China, or I've been to Bali, or I've been to South America, or it's the dream as going out into action, preferably that we can be proud of. But you can go on the dreams, then good or bad things can happen. It just depends on other factors in your chart, but the dream is there. Most people don't necessarily live up to their dream or even go towards it in any, well, it just depends how accentuated it could be in your chart. Like it'll become different what house it's in, if it's near an angle, what aspects it make. All of these factors will start to crystallize. Although Neptune doesn't really crystallize, engulf. Neptune in the air signs, it's the intellectual signs that want to communicate. So Neptune's going to make the air signs want to talk about whatever they know, but they may not have the education to validate what they know, or they may have too much education to get a job that works, or they're always believing in what they're talking, wanting to believe for what they say. So if you're listening to me, I'll fall in love with you. Or like the idealism of Neptune, the dreaminess of Neptune goes through the knowledge base of Aquarius, the sharing ideas of Libra, and the talking ideas, the communications, the sharing ideas, and the communication of Gemini, the thinking. So the thinking is either going to be way out there, really imaginative, really creative, or really, I didn't get the right education, I'm not speaking the right language, or just the confusion in these very same things, but it's going to show in the education, the knowledge, and the communication in the air sign quality. So the Neptune fantasies will work out mentally. So it's kind of like, here's a joke, I don't know. You take the 90-year-old Gemini who went to a doctor to have a sex drive lowered. He's 90 years old, he went to the doctor to have a sex drive lowered. For 30 years it had only been in his head and he wanted it down a little bit. So, but this idea of the Neptune and air signs, it's out there. But it can be very visionary. It can have incredible ideas and very intelligent. The people with Neptune and the air signs, they can read mystical books, follow mystical things, and really be open to mystical things, but they can be bored to death with any tedium in this at the office. Or that. So it has a goodness on one side, but to make that goodness happen, you have to work really hard, and it's going to have a gullibility at the same way.